All right, so today's video, we are watching a silver support on PC. Okay, silver support. They're going to be playing Ana, Moira, and Juno. They said this match was infuriated. End of story. Okay, that's it. I tried to swap around to help my team, but it wasn't nearly enough for the 5-star team I was placed with. I tried to tell my teammates that they were taking way too much damage, and I just couldn't keep up with heals at times, but to no avail. Junkrat's, D.Va, and Moira constantly flanking us, but it seems nobody noticed, and it got us every time. My team started fighting in voice chat, everyone pointed fingers. It just had everyone heated. I made some bad plays, terrible plays when I started getting desperate, because I was pretty confident the game was lost. One of our DPS ended up with 22 deaths and was legitimately screaming at us in voice chat. I've never felt helpless and never felt this helpless in a game. This game sent me down to silver 5. Can you tell me what I did wrong and what I can do better in the future? We'll try. We'll try our best.
Let's block that payload.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. Interesting spot. This spot always is so intriguing to me because I see people play it sometimes and they either get rolled or they get away with it the whole time. Because if they go to your left door, you're not going to have any vision of that. That's on your Genji. Try to be more accurate with your Ana grenades. It happens. Because, like, the way I see it is that when you play from up here at the beginning, exactly what I thought would happen happened. Everybody in your team LOS'd, and then there was no way for you to heal anybody, and no way for you to help anybody or put any more pressure on them as a team, right? Basically, this is like a spot where it makes me think that you just kind of don't want to get rolled, and yeah, you said it's a passive start? Yeah, you don't want to get rolled, so you, like, play way too safe. Like, almost too safe, to the point where, like, you actually lose value by playing too safe. Right? Like, even if you get one shot by a Widow at the beginning, like, that might get more value than what you, like, playing that angle. Yep. What rank is this? Silver 4. So, definitely a little bit different. Yep. Yeah, and oh yeah, this game, I think they go into silver 5 or something. So, I think they're going to lose it based off of that. So, you had a rough start. It happens, by the way. Sometimes you have a rough start and there's nothing you can do about it. You just keep at it. Nice sleep there on the D.Va. Keep your teammates alive if you can. All right. This part is okay. Now, I want to point something out to you. Because we mentioned, and I know your teammates made swaps, right? Obviously, they went to Zarya against the D.Va, etc. Like, but one thing I really do want to kind of point out to you here with some of the the plays that you made there is you notice how you were way more aggressive right here in general, like how you played a much more aggressive playstyle. Like you saw how you played an aggressive playstyle here, right? But then you win the team fight. But over here you played a very passive playstyle and you lost. So this kind of just shows you that it's okay to play a bit more aggressive and not try to play it way too safe on the first point. Basically the point I'm getting at. Because that went really well for you. And they had a lot on you there, and you still won that, right? Uh-oh. Yeah, it's just a good ult. I got nothing on that one. Is that bad? I see that, I'm just like, yeah, you know what? That was just a good ultimate. Nothing you can do about that. I didn't see. Do they have nano or no? I can just look back 2 seconds. I don't think they did, right? Okay. Okay. We got to talk about this. We got to talk about this because I'm always in the mindset of, I'm always one of the players in the mindset of like, I can switch off of a hero if I have ultimate, if it makes sense, right? Like, let me give you an example. I'm playing D.Va. I have D.Va ult, okay? I look at their team. They have Kiriko, Zarya, Mei, Sim, and Juno, okay? I'll explain why. I look at that comp and I go, what are the chances I actually get? Like, what are the chances I actually get a good ultimate here, right? What's the chances I can make something happen here? Probably not worth it, right? So I'll switch off of D.Va, even with D.Va ultimate. This one I look at and I go, you have Nanoblade, you have a Zarya. The other team doesn't really have a comp that's going to make you go Moira, right? Like, they're not really a dive-centric comp. They have a Reinhardt, they have a Junkrat, they have a Bastion, like, usually you go Moira when they don't peel for the backline, but like all that happened to you right there was that you got rolled by a Bastion ultimate, right? Like they just it was just a good Bastion ult. It just, you know, they put it in a pretty good spot. Could you have escaped it? You know, maybe, probably, but like it was good enough to where like a lot of players will get rolled by that ultimate, right? It can happen. Right? It can happen. So when I see this happen, and I see you switch to Moira right away here, I'm just like, you know, you still have Nanoblade, like a fully charged Zarya could like go well there. like, there's a lot that I think you want to keep there instead of just doing what you just did, because now look at this. Now you've given up your nano. Your Genji's gonna die on point. Now you need to retake, and guess what happens? You don't have Nano Blade now. So instead of having a really clean retake here, regardless of the result of what happens with, like, this blade, you gave up an opportunity here to have, like, an almost guaranteed retake against their team. Kryptonite, thanks for the tier 1, thank you, appreciate it. Now, now, Junkrat can legit just tire them. And that's it. And now, when they're nano, they can probably survive it, so. Okay, their choice was to nano, or to tire Amalga. Genji gets 2. I mean, this couldn't have been any more perfect, by the way. Chat, I want you to, like, look at the HP. Keep in mind that Junkrat just got healed by the cart in the pylon. 3 of them were at really low HP. Now, imagine retaking that with a Nano Blade on what that's going to do for your team, because now they're going to have Nano. You see what I'm talking about? How giving up that Nano Blade actually is one of the major reasons why you lost this second
almost
point.
A year.
You see that?
Flat sads.
Like, I actually think Nano Blade gets the kills there. I think you straight up kill their whole team. Viper, thanks for the 2 months of the previous prize. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Like our stream, welcome. Hope you enjoy. Well, I mean, like I said, I know why they went Moira. I mean, it's that part to me I get. They basically got rolled by a Bastion ultimate. Didn't get. They felt like, oh, I need to go and, you know, I'm not getting peeled for, etc. When in reality, like, it was just a, I don't know. There was no reason to go Moira at that point, is what I'm saying. Right? If you use Nano Blade and then you just had to go Moira after, I'll give that to you, whatever. Like, you can play whatever you want at that point, but, like, yeah, the Genji, okay. I don't know when your team starts arguing, but I'm going to go on a limb and say the Genji isn't happy that you didn't use Nano Blade. There you go. Wait for it. Okay. Hey, no, yeah, you got to kill. I can't say anything about that one. You got to kill. I can't say anything about that one. You know, it happens. Oh yeah, no, I'm saying I can see what's happening with the Genji. Like I'm saying, like I think that's why they were spamming the emote. Okay, you have your ultimate here. Your teammates won. Now, you know they don't have Moira ultimate, so you know at this point you have a free, aggressive Moira ultimate. So let's not wait too long here. Let's not wait too long for your teammates to get low. Let's lead in with this ultimate. Yes! I like this. Okay. So, what's the problem? Okay, wonderful. All right, so your reaction there was to do nothing with it. I would have liked to see you take a more aggressive angle. Remember, you're a little bit faster than you normally are, and then you can fade out. So I would like to see you take a bit more of an aggressive angle approach with that. I think that would have gone a lot better on that ultimate. I did like the timing of the ultimate. Keep that in mind. The timing of the ultimate, loved it. Absolutely love the timing of your ultimate. Want to point that out. But everything else after that wasn't the best. Did it bounce to this guy? Well, I mean, hey, you know what? It might get more value than if the other diva eats the orb. Okay, yeah, healing orb, yeah. One of the reasons why, and listen, I'm not saying don't use healing orb, but I'm going to tell you right now, like, getting damage output and, like, damage orb and things like that is so much more effective than the 3 healing the Moira orb does when it flies away. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is about Moira orb, and keep in mind, like, obviously, like, you know, I play a bit more tank, but anytime I use a healing orb, it either goes to the skybox and heals Winston on Horizon Lunar Colony, or, like, it just bounces off a wall, goes nowhere. Like, if you're in, like, a hallway like here, like, you can probably get away with just, like, throwing it up on the roof and it goes down back and forth, right? See what I'm saying? Like, it just goes up and down. Like, that makes sense, right, in the hallway here. But I'm telling you, I don't know if it's just a me thing, but when I use that damn healing orb, that thing sucks. I'm not saying it sucks, but, like, well, I just said it sucks, but, you know, I'm not saying it's terrible, but, man, let me tell you, the amount of value I get from just keeping my resources high from a damage orb in comparison to, like, a healing orb is just so much better. I don't know. That's what it feels like for me. Obviously, like, I think, you know what it feels like healing orb is? It feels like it's more a bit niche at times. As in, like, let me put it this way. if they're all low in front of you, it's really good. But if you're trying to solo heal somebody in front of you, that's when I think it loses a bit of its value, and players will still use it for that. When you get like when you have the trade-off of that. Once again, it's all theory. Like there's gonna be Moira players who have the sickest healing orbs ever. So obviously it's more of a personal preference on that one. But I think that could lead to a little bit better of like a sequence for you, I guess I could say, if you do it that way. Yep. Yeah, like group it, like right here. That healing orb right there, I like. See how there was 2 critical people in front and you threw it there? That one, that's what I mean. Like that one makes sense to me. It's when like your Maug is at 40% HP and like you have enough resources and you throw the healing orb at them and it heals them for like 20 and then flies off into like the abyss, right? You know what I mean? That's where I'd be like, okay, I'd rather throw a damage orb here to be able to get my resources back and then just heal up the Mago that way. And hope they don't just sit there and keep taking damage, right? But it's all theory, too, at that point and, like, how you play it, etc. So. Okay, so this was an ambitious ultimate. Now, the thing I want to point out to you is that one critical teammate in front probably isn't... It's actually funny because you know what would be a great combo right now? Moira ult, Genji ult. Have the Genji go in and Moira ult at the same time. Boom. Not as good as Nano, but it keeps him up. It keeps him alive. So it's also synergy based. I was gonna say that's a Diva ult kill on the Genji. Yeah. If I ever hear a Genji blade during a Diva ult, and then I don't hear a dash immediately after, I know exactly what's gonna happen. Okay. Yeah, so you've had a unique approach to the start of this game. I will say that. You definitely had a unique approach. A lot of what you need to do is just clean up your ability usage and, like, your timing. Because your Moira ultimate timing was just off. So you couldn't get a good Moira ultimate. You just tried to save the Genji out of position. Then you kind of hacked up your orbs, moved around the map randomly, and then got off the point at the end where, like, I'm not saying there's a guarantee you're going to hold it there, but you might as well give yourself an opportunity. So, yeah, not the best defense. Obviously, it's a team effort. Like, your Genji playing 2 aggro certainly didn't help, but I think your decision-making so far has definitely not gone in the favor of, like, okay, I like this play type of situation. I think your ultimate's been tough. Yeah, like I said, that ultimate, the Moira ultimate, the switching off of Ana when you have Genji combo, like, things like that. See, you know what? It's funny because I've actually, obviously we've been doing a bit more flex queue recently and play Ana. You know one thing I suck at Ana sometimes? And I'm sure there's some players in the chat who do this too as Ana. The one where, like, you want your Genji to blade, they don't blade, you get impatient, and then you just nano someone else, and you go, you know, I probably should have saved that. And then, like, you probably should have, but that's probably the most difficult part about being able to deal with that, right? Is, like, trying to figure out those timings, I guess, of, like, you know, I probably should have waited, but, like, I built this so quickly. Can you just use your blade, please? But, I mean, that wasn't the case here, but that's the issue I run into on Ana, is, like, when players just don't want to use their blade. And you just, like, you know you build it so fast, and then, like, then you finally use it, and then they decide to use it the next team fight in, like, the worst possible scenario, and you're like, come on! I mean, that's just, you threw an aggressive Ana grenade, I do it too, and then the Moira rolled you. So what's this default strategy of, they kill you once on Ana, and then you switch to Moira? I don't mind the Ana here, right? Because, like, you play back, they have this comp. Craig, thanks for the gift and stuff. Thank you, appreciate it, thank you. It feels like you get killed once, you're like, oh, that's it, I gotta swap. Like, it's okay if they get you. That was just a good play by them. It was actually, I mean, honestly, you want to know the truth here? You dying there wasn't even really on your team. It's because you went for an aggressive Ana grenade, and then when you needed your Ana grenade, you didn't have it. Now, I'm an aggressive Ana grenader too, so I get it. Like, I do that sometimes too. But that was more the result of not your teammates playing bad or, like, you need to go Moira. That was just, you use your Ana grenade aggressively, you hit somebody with it, and then they killed you. And that's it. Here we go. Nice. Hey, team got kills. Team got kills. Nice. Can you still play Genji? Go for it. I mean, I'll play whatever you want. I don't care. Most like meta stuff you'll hear about doesn't really matter in a lot of ranks when it comes to, like, what your hero selection will be. Like, a lot of the time it's if you're good at a hero when you're really good at the hero and it's like the hero you're better at, it's probably going to be better than somebody trying to force you to go a meta hero that is meta in top 500. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather have an Unreal Junkrat, like if you're in a plat game, than have somebody have to switch to like Mei because you saw that Mei is meta in like an OWCS game, right? Because like when you play at that high level, like a lot of that is not just the hero selection itself. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not just the hero selection, it's what you do with that hero when it comes to teamwork and how you use the utility to like enable your teammates, etc. Good ultimate here, by the way. I like that you were, obviously the timing was a little bit kind of all in, but I'd rather you just win the team fight and go from there. So, but yeah, I think that's sometimes where like meta kind of gets a little bit interested in how you would play it in, let's say, like plat or silver, for example, because the way that you would play it in top 500 is a lot more, or even like OWCS, sorry, which is obviously like a step above that, is like, there's a lot of synergy that is involved with a team comp, so a lot of time it's okay just to have somebody on their comfort pick and then just kind of just be good at the hero and grind it out, you know what I mean? Here we go. That healing orb is, probably don't need it. Let me give you a little bit of advice here. For, if your Maug is at like a pretty decent HP, so let's say they were at like what they were at, right? That was a pretty solid HP point. You're gonna get more value out of the damage orb there because when they use their, so your Mauga use like the, you know when a Mauga lights up, that means they have lifesteal at 100% lifesteal. A Mauga does. So your Mauga was fine there. So I wouldn't really waste the healing orb at that point. I would just use your damage orb. That was a good tire. That was just a good tire. Nothing you do about that. Good tire. I gotta probably pay attention more to the resource usage, but definitely, you definitely don't overuse it, which is good. I think, didn't we recently watch a Moira VOD where the Moira was like using all of their resources randomly? Like, this has been decent. You understand they're close. I don't know what that diva was just doing, but yeah, there you go. You're already back. Yeah. This has been fine. My opinion. I'm okay with this whole sequence. Use Fade to get rid of the purple. Nice. Use your ultimate. Yep. I'm okay with the trade and ults here. This ultimate, by the way, chat, is not going to look like unreal, like good, but the idea there, I don't mind. So the reason why I don't mind that ultimate is because you're basically countering their Moira ultimate after them. So like once you don't lose your teammates, you basically get like a slight advantage if your teammates are at a decent HP. That ultimate was fine. Basically, you basically at least trade for their ultimate, and then you end up winning the team fight. I'm okay with that whole sequence right there. That was good. And you knew you could pop your ultimate at 30 HP. By the way, I remember how earlier I talked about the healing orb. That healing orb right there I'm okay with because you were in a very unique 1v1 with a Junkrat, and you also have your healing orb bouncing off the ceiling in a small room. That's where I'm okay with that one. All right? That made sense. The one who goes down 22 times this game, it's got to be the Genji, I imagine. Because the Torb is way too passive, it's got to be the Genji, 100%. I guarantee it's the Genji. Is it silver? Yes. Okay, you're... Oh, look at your Mauga's HP. Remember how I mentioned earlier, like, when they pop that, like, cardiac overdrive, like, how much they can get their HP back up? We just saw that happen. Good play. I don't really have anything, like, wrong with any of that sequence there. I'm totally content with that whole sequence. That was fine, in my opinion. Yes, I'm a duck. Thanks for the 14 months of the tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Is the 14 months? Are you hoping you saying as a cast player you want like a really good mythic? I'm sure. I mean, the mythic's been pretty cool. I think the only mythic people like that's been like kind of like it was the remember that time I did the Orisa and the Hanzo one? But outside of that, like they're still okay mythics. It's just in comparison to a lot of the other ones. Yeah. Even the Hanzo one was okay. It's just the Hanzo one was more like the lack of customization. But yeah. But the Orisa one was yeah. Kind of just your Genji playing too aggro, yeah. Much better start for you here than the last time. You at least played close and with your team, so I'm okay with that one. Try to get a damage orb out before you go. Just throw a damage orb out. Ooh, see. I would have rather see the min-max right there where you just throw your damage orb at them and like see what you can get. But just like throw your damage orb. Just throw a damage orb down there. Because they're going to be running into there anyway. There you go. Nice. Perfect. You know, it didn't get anything, but like I want to see that, right? BL Pop, thanks for the 5 months of the Future Shrines. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. I would wait. Yep. Okay. So I that's why if you notice I made the reaction of like so what you did wrong there in that situation was you clearly were losing the team fight, and if you didn't react immediately to the Moira ultimate, especially when they have the Juno ultimate, which the Juno ultimate basically is it's damage boost and heals them for quite a bit. So I saw you do that play, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not going to work as well. And so I would rather see you save your Moira ultimate and then not try to force a play at the end there, because when you do that, it also can kind of... Now, obviously, your Torb can make the decision on their own in that one, but, like, you know, if I see a Moira ult and I'm like, okay, we're going for this. We're going for the win. So it kind of turned into, like, rather than just lose the team fight, you both committed your ultimates, and now you're down in team fights. This is too aggro. Not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And at a certain point, you said, oh, I started to play more aggressive because it was lost at that point. Can I ask you a question? Does this game even remotely seem lost at this point in the game? Does this seem remotely lost? I don't think so. I don't see this and go, oh, this game's over. I just don't. I think this game is... I think this game is totally within winning range, so that felt like a very aggressive play by you that... Look at your team. You have Blade, you have Kitsune, and now you're out of the team fight. Now you're back on Ana. On Ana again? Like, what? I don't mind Ana here, but, like, why are you switching off Ana to begin with? Go aggro, go aggro, go aggro, go aggro. Back up, 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 back up. Position in. Oh, that would have been a good iron grenade, too. Yeah, that's on your Genji. Your Genji went for the wrong angle. Oh. Your position, I feel like, is just like you're like 2 seconds away from getting rolled. Yeah, I mean, look at this. As I've said many times with Ana, the strength of, like, playing Ana is also going to be based off of your positioning. So, like, good positioning on Ana is the most frustrating thing to deal with, and all you did was just sit there, right? All you did was just sit there and, like, run in front of them. And then they just got you to begin with. I actually kind of like the Juno retake here. Right? Should the Zarya... Go for Juno in that situation now. Because you lost your timing. Hey, you went to the point this time. That's good. Nice. Should be good now. Or at least you held. At least you held, right? That's the good news. That's a step in the right direction. We take those. Right? Who's a good support to learn as a Lucio one trick? You can't go wrong learning Kiriko, Moira, or Juno right now, in my opinion. Any of those three. People are like, Moira? As much as people do not like having Moiras on their team, the reason why I like the idea of players being able to learn Moira is that, and I would say Juno or Kiriko obviously bring a lot of utility. Moira, in my opinion, is a good, like, pocket pick to have if your teammates aren't peeling for you. Straight up. And then I talked about it a lot. The reason why a lot of players will go Moira in your rank games is not because they just want to go Moira and run it down mid and do a bunch of damage. It's because your team isn't peeling for them. Straight up. Now, this game, I don't have that same vibe. I think it just went Moira to go Moira. But, like, a lot of the time, your teammate is going Moira because your team is not helping them survive. And they've decided at a certain point, like, I can't give you value anymore. Like, I'm trying to play Ana for you. It ain't working. I'm trying to play Kiriko. It ain't working. Like, no one's helping me. They're diving me. They're like, right? Like, that's why they do it. So they switch to Moira because that's the only hero that they can essentially survive with. So that's why I think it's also okay to learn Moira in that situation. Because, like, there's going to be games where your teammates will not peel for you and refuse to peel for you and help you. But obviously you like Kiriko and Juno for the utility, right? Because you bring, like, Suzu, you bring speed boost, you bring all these other variations, you bring, like, a decent healing output, good damage. Like, there's other things you bring too that's good there, so. You don't think you need to peel for Kiriko most of the time? Yeah, but the problem is that, like, the reason why I think with Moira it works out for a lot of players who swap to Moira there is because the survivability and what you have to do on Moira is going to be a little bit different than learning how to, like, tempo your shots as Kiriko on the flank while teleporting back to your teammates and then using your cleanse. Understand, like, there's a lot to learn in Kiriko at that point that, like, if you're just trying to learn a new hero just to learn a new hero at that point, like, I think, like, other variations can work, is what I'm saying. Wait for it. I like that. I like you being aggressive with your right clicks. I think sometimes players are a little bit too passive with those right now. Plus, I just like the sound of the right click. It's just a cool sound design. I know that's probably not the best way to look at it, but it's just, you know what? Listen, sometimes you just want to hear a cool sound, and that's what you get from Juno, right? So the Zarya is always fully charged. I'm going to be honest with you, it's really easy to get charged as Zarya nowadays. And I've talked about it before. There's this balance of, like, you need to... There's this balance with Zarya where, like, if you never shoot a Zarya, the Zarya is going to get full charge regardless, and then the Zarya just dominates. And if you shoot a Zarya, yes, they get the energy, but then they don't have the bubbles. And so it's like, it's one of those things where it's about finding the balance of all that more than anything else. I've been trying to help with that, like, trying to get players out of the mindset of never shoot Zarya, because I think shooting Zarya, there's a lot of benefit to getting bubbles out, so that way you get free kills on Zarya. Granted, it's time and base. Little May, thanks for the 3 months. Thank you, appreciate it. Also, I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice on your ultimate. That ultimate worked out fine. You could have put the ultimate at an angle because it does go through walls. But it actually, the distance of that ultimate was perfect, so I got nothing to say on that one. You're good. At first, I was like, maybe put the ultimate at an angle and it might be a little bit better. But I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I think that was fine, because now I understand the distance on it, so it was a good ultimate. I mean, I can go on theory on this one, because, like, someone in the chat said always shoot the Zarya. She has no HP when she pop bubbles. I can talk about that very quickly. I think this is a good discussion point, in my opinion, so I have no problem, like, talking about it. So, like, let me ask you this question. If you're playing King's Row on the statue and a Zarya runs at you at the beginning of a round and pops their bubble, would I suggest shooting the bubble there? No, because more than likely the rest of the team isn't with the Zarya. So you're going to basically be able to alleviate 45 energy away from that Zarya, right? The Zarya won't get any energy. Now, if they bubble again right after that, then I'd say shoot the bubble, because now they have no bubbles and they have 45 energy, right? You can deal with a 45 energy Zarya. Do you see, like, it comes with experience of, like, recognizing when to shoot a bubble and when not to shoot a bubble. So I don't want to get people in the mindset of always shoot Zarya bubble, always don't shoot Zarya bubble, right? It's fine in the in-between. That is the most important part. So I want to get people on the opposites. Like, I don't want people to be on the one side of, oh, you always shoot the bubble or you always don't shoot the bubble. You got to be in the middle there, okay? They're out of position. First bubble, they're not going to do anything with that. It's early in the game, whatever. Second bubble they use right in front of your face after they use the first bubble. Now you break that bubble and then shoot the Zarya because they're out of position. 45 energy, yes, but their next bubble won't be up for another 5 seconds, right? I generally go in the mindset of count 3 bubbles to be able to make the decision correctly. So what I mean by that is most good Zarya players, and even, like, sometimes players who aren't good at Zarya but, like, are okay at Zarya will get this timing down. Most good Zaryas are going to have 3 bubbles. That's what's going to happen. You're going to go, what do you mean they have 2 bubbles? The timing's aligned with 3 bubbles. So once you can count the 3rd bubble, that's when you kill Zarya. So if you can remember that, it becomes a lot easier to understand timings of, like, okay, they used a bubble, they used another bubble, 1 more bubble to go, then we just kill the Zarya. It's going to be like an 8-second cooldown at that point. So I want to get people in the mindset of find the balance. If a Zarya's out of position, it's okay to break the bubble. If a Zarya's really far back and there's, like, no immediate threat to, like, what the Zarya can do to your team, then of course you let the bubble just chill, because there's not gonna be any value there, right? For that Zarya in general. So it's all about balance of don't give the Zarya too much space because you decide not to shoot at them at all, and don't feed them 100 energy when they're really far back and can time their bubbles and have it all the time. Does that make sense? Playing against somebody with 2,600 hours on Zarya, yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup. Sometimes you go against the players that have so many hours on a hero, and, like, let me tell you, also, that was a good flank by them. I'm not even, I know you got rolled there, but it also was just a good flank by their team. They kind of left you susceptible. Their team played that well. Yeah, so you lost that game. Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I feel like for you, I feel like for you, your problem was you were almost over-analyzing your gameplay too much. As in, like, you were worried so much about various things that were happening that you would swap off of, like, heroes that would be beneficial. Like, you're like, oh, no, I got killed here. I have to switch heroes. So I want you to get in the mindset of understanding, okay, if I'm going to swap, what am I giving up when I make this swap? Why am I making the swap? When you were on Ana, I had no problem with you on Ana because they had no heroes that would really be able to get to you aggressively, right? Like, you're not going to get killed by a lot of their stuff. Obviously, Junkrat spam can get you, but, like, that's a different story. So when you make these hero swaps, I really want you to think about why you're making these hero swaps. Because a lot of the time I saw you make them, I didn't even understand why you're making the hero swaps. I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, well, what happened here that you were like, okay, I need to swap to this hero? Because I didn't see anything specifically that made me go, okay, you need to swap. I didn't feel like I ever saw that. I felt like it was, you just swapped to swap. So I want you to really think about your swaps sometimes of why you're doing it. Now, let me give you an example. The other team is diving you as a Genji and a Tracer and a Winston, and nothing's getting done. You're on Ana and you can't do anything. I get it, okay? At that point, you make the swap, right? Why not make the swap at that point? Because you're getting no value. But if, like, they're running the comp they're running, you're fine. So I think for you, I want you to definitely focus on positioning. Per usual, that's for any rank, but play further back when you're on Ana, understand the hero you're on. Timings can improve, but I think overall, I think you kind of, like, you kind of counter-swapped yourself. Is that the wrong way to, like, look at that one? I feel like you just counter-swapped yourself the whole time. Like, you just, at no point did they do anything to make you swap. You just made swaps to make swaps. So I definitely want to see you clean that up a little bit, because I feel like if you do that, you'll start to see better results. If I can get somebody to swap off of a strong hero in a team comp just because I stare at them once and kill them with a Bastion ultimate, then we're going to have a pretty good game going for ourselves. So I definitely want to see you improve on that side of things, and you can do it. Like, you clearly have the ability to do that. Now the next step is just understanding that and making those plays. So less like swapping too much out of you, focus on your positioning, understand rotations, understand strengths of like that, and that takes time, but I think if you do that, you're going to start to climb again. And obviously, to your teammates arguing and like your Genji and everybody fighting with each other, this is a classic case of no one really knew what was happening in the game, so everybody got angry at each other, when in reality, it was just like half of your team wanted to play aggro, half of your team wanted to play passive, and if you can't get your team on the same page, that's all it is. So that was a tough one. That was a tough one across the board, but you know what? I think if you can focus on what you can improve here, I think you'll end up in a good spot. Not like your teammates taking too much poke damage. I think you need to work on your stuff, on what you can improve on first, rather than worrying about like your Genji having 22 deaths. Now, keep in mind, 22 deaths is a lot, and I'm not saying that's good, but I saw a lot out of you that could have improved a ton of that. I mean, heck, we could go all the way back to that point where you switched off of the Nano Blade, and if you look at that Nano Blade, that could have been the make or break in like holding second point or having so much more, them having less time on attack and you having more time to defend, right? There's so much there that you could have switched up on. So point is, a lot you can work on. Just look back at what we talked about, and you can absolutely do this. You got this. If you like this video, make sure to like button, subscribe to all three YouTubes if you haven't, leave a comment. All of that helps. If you want to submit your own spectating, look in the description below. You will see my Discord. That's where you do that. We also record these live on stream. You can see the Twitch app below the webcam. Also stream on YouTube, so stop by if you haven't. With that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day/night.